Hello friends. The Department of English of KKM College Manvat welcomes you for this special activity on the occasion of 113th birth anniversary of a versatile genius, a man par excellence, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. The visionary leader, an extraordinary statesman, Dr. Ambedkar has gifted us with his scholarship through his ahead of time, studious and offbeat analysis on various subjects. The legacy of this great man is found in various books he wrote on the subjects like history, economics, politics, culture, social ideology, and some other. Out of these, a few books are chosen for this activity. The books such as Buddha or Karl Marx, Pakistan or Partition of India, Rise and Fall of Hindu Women, Castes in India, Ranade, Gandhi and Jinnah, and Waiting for a Visa will be introduced through this platform as a fitting tribute to this great man by our students Prem Chauhan, Rasika Joshi, Nisha Ghagarmale, Pratiksha Gonge, Saraswati Bhise and Prithvi Dhawale respectively. Your response to this activity matters us a lot. Thank you.
Hello friends, here is Nisha Bhausaheb Ghagarmale, BA final year student of KKM College Manvat. Once again I am with you through this digital platform. This time I have chosen Ambedkar's one of the important books entitled Rise and Fall of Hindu Women. First of all, a very happy birth anniversary of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Birth anniversaries are often celebrated after the demise of a personality, but Dr. Ambedkar was so loving and different that his Jayanti was celebrated when he was just 37 years old on 14 April 1928. When his first Jayanti was celebrated by his fervent follower named Janardhan Sadashiv Ranvise. The efforts and energy he had put in for the furtherance of the Dalit community make stand out from the rest of the leaders, and thus his birthday is celebrated all over the country and is marked as a public holiday. We, the students of KKM College, are set to remember legacy of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in an innovative way. It is through introduction of his thoughts, views and ideas found in his writing sheet. This man of great intelligence was born on 14 April 1891 in Mohur village of Madhya Pradesh. He was an Indian jurist, economist, politician and social reformer. He inspired the Dalit Buddhist movement and worked for the rights of the Dalits. His family was of Hindu Mahar caste who was treated as a untouchables. He had to face untouchability in society and school. Dr. Ambedkar left this world on 6 December 1956. The great work he did for India will always be remembered by the country. In the book Rise and Fall of Hindu Women, Dr. Ambedkar wants women to have higher participation in all walks of life, especially in the political arena. He was one of the first activists to initiate root-level work for the rights of the working women, and hence he said, "I measure the progress of a community by the degree of progress which women have achieved." What a powerful statement this is to have such a worldwide view in the early 20th century was going through grave political turmoil speaks volumes about the vision of Ambedkar. In the Rise and Fall of Hindu Women, Dr. Ambedkar not only championed the cause of social justice for the downtrodden and underprivileged sections of Indian society, but also worked tirelessly throughout his life to challenge the legitimacy of orthodox Hindu social order that upheld inefficient gender relations in an institutionalized manner. His mission in life was to reconstruct Hindu society along the modern democratic ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity. His main argument is that gender relations are artificially constructed under Hindu social order, which not only molds attitude towards their women but also to conform to a stereotype feminine behavior. Exposure to the Western ideas of humanism and rational thinking. Dr. Ambedkar addresses the low status of women in Hindu society. He not only worked hard at the grassroots level to raise awareness about the degraded status of women in Hindu society, but also wrote extensively to counter the views on gender relations. Approved by Shastras and upheld by tradition, Dr. Ambedkar analyzed the manner in which gender relations are artificially constructed under Hindu social order, which not only molds attitude of Hindus towards their women but also to conform to a stereotype feminine behavior. He worked hard to challenge the inefficient gender relations under the Hindu social order so that Hindu society could be reconstructed along the modern democratic ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity. He points out that during the pre-Manu days, women occupied a very high position in the intellectual and social life of the country, that a woman was entitled to Upanayan. It is learned from the Atharva Veda, where a girl is spoken of being eligible for marriage having finished her brahmacharya. From the Shudras, it is clear that women who repeat the mantras of the Vedas. Panini's Astadhyayi bear testimony to the fact that women attended Gurukul and studied the various shakhas of the Vedas. Women could also enter into public discussion with men on various subjects like religion, philosophy, and metaphysics. In the days of Kautilya, marriages were post-puberty is clear from Buddhana's Graha Sutras, where an expiatory ceremony is specially prescribed in the case of a bride passing her menses on the occasion of her marriage. Unlike Manu, Kautilya's idea of marriage is monogamy, and women could also claim divorce on the grounds of a mutual enmity and hatred. Further, there was no ban on women or a widow remarrying. Dr. Ambedkar viewed caste system and the customary practices associated with it as largely responsible for the degraded status of women in contemporary Indian society. That a woman in pre-Manu days enjoyed respectable status in Hindu society. Women were free and enjoyed equal status along with men in the matters of education, remarriage, divorce, and economic independence. According to Manusmriti, women are not to be trusted, for it is in their nature to seduce men. Men are forbidden to sit in a lonely place even with one's mother, sister, or daughter. Women are not to be free under any circumstances. Day and night, women must be kept independent by the males of their families. Her father protects her in childhood, her husband protects her in youth, and her sons protect her in old age. A woman never fit for independence. A wife could be subjected to corporal punishment by her husband, reducing the status to that of a slave. Dr. Ambedkar points out that Shastras, caste, and endogamy, the three important pillars of patriarchy in Hindu society, responsible for the discriminatory practice against women and their degradation in social status. Ambedkar wrote this in response to an allegation made against the Buddha of being the first to thrust the women of India to the background. It's an informative elaboration on why Buddha was one of the first great teachers of the past who had a worldview appeal exactly because of his deep understanding of human nature, free of color, caste, or sex. And even though the downfall of Hindu women was a consequence of a larger systematic patriarchal superstructure and cannot be pinpointed to one definite era or person, it can, however, be said that Manu played a major and one of the primal role in translating the theoretical injustices against women into praxis. It got me thinking how the arguments made by Gandhi in defense of the Varna system, owing to its horizontal and not vertical arrangement, are over simplistic and reactionary. So, Rise and Fall of Hindu Women is a short, simplified, and a memorable read. Some of the citations from Manusmriti are deserving of being committed to memory in case you have to fight a right-wing nationalist screeching about the fading Bharatiya Sanskriti, by which they mean suppressions of women, minorities, and the lower caste, as propounded by the great Manu, and its loss due to the westernization and contamination of the Indian youth by the left and the liberals. In this way, Dr. Ambedkar wrote how was the situation of Hindu women and how it is. Dr. Ambedkar offers a scholarly attribution regarding socio-political state in India, Indian, more particularly Hindu women. He finds her condition in contemporary society more degrading, painful compared with past. Though there are a few loose places in this argument, it is must read to explore the past and present social position of Hindu women. Therefore, I request you to read this book. Thank you.